demo starts talking about the microtransaction controversy. The game is carefully balanced and complete for everyone. There is no pay-to-win option. Every single item in the game is available to all players. Due to the sheer size of the game, microtransactions were only added for those that may not have a lot of time to spend with the game. More info on this will be announced in the future. The demo then showed the Aerial Command Center, or ACC, where you can plan your next mission. The ACC can be decorated with pictures, and there will be more and more pictures as you progress through the game. Then there was the weapon rack that held Snake's current weapon. I'm sure this will change depending on which weapon Snake has with him. You can see your buddy on the chopper with you, whomever you have chosen, Quiet in this instance, and her demeanor will change depending on how friendly you are with her, as I am sure it will change for most of the other buddies as well. There are also various bits of intel scattered around the ACC, including a map on the ceiling and pictures on the walls. The demo then goes on to show the customization menu, where it shows the different things that can be customized, and there is a lot. The customization menu shows weapons, which the demo will go on to show exactly how extensive this customization can be, allowing you to not only craft weapons with parts that you found throughout the world, but you can also mix and match pieces from different weapons to create an entirely new weapon of your own creation. You can change virtually every aspect of the gun. Barrels, silencers, underbarrel attachments, practically everything on the gun is customizable. Even the pattern and color of the gun can be modified. Next on the customization menu is Helicopter, which I'm sure allows you to not only customize the interior of your ACC, but probably also allows you to change the look of the helicopter in both aesthetics and functionality. Then there is the Vehicles option, which is probably very similar to the helicopter, possibly allowing you to change the look of it and add new equipment, such as things like gun turrets on a Jeep, for instance. Then there is Buddy Equipment, which is pretty straightforward. It will probably allow you to manage the weapons and items that your buddy is carrying, and you could possibly even be able to swap things between each other in the field. Next option on the customization menu is Emblem, which allows you to create your own emblem that can be seen on your base and even on your equipment and vehicles. They made a special emblem just for E3, and this may not look like anything special, but if the emblem customization is as in-depth as it was in Call of Duty Black Ops, then we are in for some very detailed possibilities. If I remember correctly, each letter was a different layer upon the image, and if that is the case here, then there are an awful lot of layers on just this one image. They could have also done a different process with MGS5 and just put in like a typing box like in Microsoft Paint or something, and just size it to how you want, then type it in whatever you want. Either way, this is a great feature to have in the Metal Gear world, and I can't wait to see what it has to offer. Then finally, the last customization option is Base Color, which will allow you to change the color of your base. If you want a black base, then make it black. If you want a pink base, then make it pink. Or you can go with the classic big shell orange look. Then the demo talks about how you can listen to recordings on tapes in your Walkman. You can get various different tapes that will give you mission briefings, character backstories, and you can even listen to music. It was revealed that MGS5 has a soundtrack of 50 songs, and a lot of these songs are 80s hits, like Kids in America by Kim Wilde, which was released in 1981, The Final Countdown by Europe, which was released in 1986, which brings up a little problem. MGS5 is supposed to take place in 1984, so either the game's timeline will go beyond 1984, or they just pick some of the best hit songs from all of the 80s and use them in the game. Either way, it's an interesting thing to point out. Then there is Take On Me by Aha, which came out in 1985, again after the 1984 timeline of MGS5, and Only the Time Will Tell by Asia, that was released in 1982. It shows later in the demo that you can collect these cassette tapes, some of which can be found playing inside of radios. Another tape or two were found in just such a way in the demo, and one of those songs was 1982's Hall & Oates hit, Man-Eater. Oh, here she comes. Watch out, boy, she'll chew. Okay, here we go. Anyway, just like in Ground Zeroes, you can not only listen to music on your Walkman, but you can also set your helicopter to play the music as it flies in. And be careful with this, because the louder the music, the more chance an enemy will spot your helicopter. Then the demo shows the missions menu, where it shows the main missions and side ops selection menu. But then there is a new option called Free Roam, where you can just go down to the world and explore it in what is essentially sandbox mode. From there, you can see all of the available missions and just go and pick whichever one you want to take on. Or you can just roam around and have fun doing whatever. The option for free roam shows 2 locations to pick from, and I am sure there will be more as the game progresses, because Africa is not on the list, and we know that it is a location in the game. But the 2 options we do see are Northern Kabul, Afghanistan, which is in the northeastern region of Afghanistan, and the second option is Mother Base, which we now know is located in the Seychelles waters, which after a little research, I found that Seychelles is an archipelago of 115 islands off the coast of East Africa. So Mother Base is somewhat nearby to the locations of Africa and Afghanistan, and it is not the rebuilt Mother Base that was located in the Caribbean Sea in Peace Walker and Ground Zeroes. Then the demo shows that you can select a buddy and equip them from the mission start menu. In this demo, we can see Quiet, D-Horse, D-Dog, and D-Walker. D-Horse is selected, and you can see that he has a battle dress equipped onto him, and you could probably customize this as well. I'm not sure how deeply you will be able to customize it, but with how deep the customization is in this game, I am pretty sure that you will be able to change the color and style of the battle dress. The demo then goes on to select D-Dog, who is good at tracking and scouting, whom just like all the other buddies, can wear equipment and can probably carry different things. You can also choose to have a vehicle left for you at the drop-off point, so you can have a mode of transportation in this large world, readily available for you. You can also see some of the vehicle customization here by the player-created emblem on the side of the Jeep. You can also select a character to play as, just like in Peace Walker. You don't have to play as Snake, but you can also play as anyone that you have recruited in the game. The game will also allow you to set your drop time or starting time, such as 0600 hours or 6 AM, 1800 hours or 6 PM, or ASAP as soon as possible. On the way to your drop-off point, you can look around inside the ACC, or you can even open up the door and look out at the scenery. After Snake and D-Dog are dropped off, we see how real D-Dog actually acts. Just like a real dog, he will stop to mark his territory from time to time. The demo then goes on to explain that you will unlock missions in groups, and you can complete them in any order you want. So the game is not going to be just a completely linear experience as most of the past Metal Gear games have been. The actual gameplay starts by finding a side op to extract an English-speaking soldier because Snake is currently in Soviet-controlled Afghanistan, and everyone speaks Russian. So Snake is going to need a translator. I am sure that you will later have to track down other translators for other languages as well, since this map is not the only one in the game. D-Dog, or DD, will automatically sniff out any enemies or animals within the world, and they will automatically be marked on your map. The demo then shows a menu that allows you to give DD commands. Whistle, which I am thinking is to distract guards yourself and not to call DD, because there is another call option for DD at the bottom. Or I guess Whistle could be a quieter form of calling DD. But then there is also the option in the middle, keep them busy. Then another menu comes up to show several new options. Knock, lure the enemy, which I think is taking place of the whistle since you are next to a wall. Wait, to tell DD to stay. Keep him busy, which is shown shortly afterward when Snake gives the order and DD attacks one of the guards before Snake takes the opportunity to take both the guards out. And the last option is bark, which makes DD bark to act as a distraction to make guards turn around so that Snake can strike and take them out, just as he does to the translator. The demo also shows that you can extract many different things: turrets, supplies, vehicles, animals, and people, amongst many other things, can all be extracted using the Fulton balloons. However, unlike in Peace Walker where you could just Fulton anyone from anywhere, even if you were in an underground base deep beneath an old mine, now in the Phantom Pain, you actually have to be outside in order to Fulton someone. If you aren't outside, the balloon will hit the ceiling and it will pop. After capturing the translator, the demo shows a bit of the Mother Base management menu, where Snake can place guards wherever they would be most suited, just like in Peace Walker. Now I could be wrong, but it appears like there are a few new sections to place people into. There is a Diamond Dogs logo, which is probably the overall list of people at Mother Base. Then there is combat with the crossed swords. These soldiers would be able to enter the field like Snake can, and could possibly go on missions of their own, like the Outer Ops in Peace Walker. Next is a shield unit marked Defense, which will probably be for the defense of Mother Base. Research and Development with the Wrench. This is for creating new weapons and items. Then Base Development with a symbol of a clear hexagon in front of a white hexagon. I am guessing this is to make your Mother Base grow, allowing you to build more struts to make it bigger. The Support Unit, which has a symbol similar to the Intel unit from Peace Walker. This is probably for people at Mother Base to tell you where you can find new items, people, and locations. Kind of like a scout unit. Then there is a symbol of 3 lines, kind of like the symbol for signal or radio waves. I don't know if this has anything to do with communications or anything, but I assume it is something like this, because it is a place where you can actually put a soldier to work at. Then there is the symbol of what looks like a pill, and this is probably the medical portion of Mother Base, that will develop certain medical items for you, and will heal hurt allies. Then there is a heart, which I don't remember if that was in Peace Walker or not, but if it wasn't, then that could possibly be for soldiers that just made it out of the medical ward, or could be to show soldiers' morale at Mother Base. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm not entirely sure. Then there's the symbol of a cage, which is the brig, for soldiers that have just been faltened before they join your side, and for soldiers that get in fights and such on Mother Base. And depending on the morale of the base, things like that will actually happen. The demo then shows that you will also be able to find POWs in the Phantom Pain, just like in Peace Walker and Ground Zeroes. And it is discovered that this POW has the Botanist skill, which will probably allow for the cultivation of plants to create tranquilizer darts for Snake to use. The demo later shows some of the dynamic weather in the game, with a sandstorm, before the player decides to use the Phantom Cigar item to fast forward time. It is like an e-cigarette that is filled with herbs that speed up the perception of time. Now what do you suppose that is? Time fast forwards through the night and into the next day fairly quickly, and it looks as though the Phantom Cigar can only be used a certain amount of times before you have to restock on them. The demo then goes on to show the start of a main mission, where Snake approaches a little box with an antenna and what looks to be a briefcase or an old laptop, where he downloads the mission data onto his iDroid. Then the mission Episode 3, A Hero's Way, begins, and Snake has to take out a Spetsnaz commander. In main missions, you have to stay in a certain area in order to do the mission. If you exit the area, you will abort the mission, and you will have to restart the mission if this happens. This makes it so you aren't off gallivanting while you should be rescuing Miller or something. At this point, a new buddy is shown. Snake calls in D-Walker and sends D-Dog back to Mother Base. D-Walker is a small model of Metal Gear that looks like a larger version of Metal Gear Mark II from MGS4. And I am sure that D-Walker can be equipped with different attachments like different weapons and such. But in this instance, he had a robotic arm and a Gatling gun. Snake can ride D-Walker, and D-Walker has several different modes of transportation. He can walk or run, which is fairly loud, or he can go into wheel mode, where he can ride around faster and quieter, even allowing you to sneak up on enemies quickly and attack them before they could even know what hit them. D-Walker also has an ability similar to D-Dog's, but instead of sniffing things out, he uses a kind of radar to mark all of the nearby enemies on your map. On the way to the mission area, Snake calls in for a sniper rifle to be dropped to him, and it is there when he arrives. And then you can see the parachute it came down on seems to burst into flames, just like how D-Walkers had done earlier. This is probably to get rid of the evidence that Snake was ever there. D-Walker can also use his own kind of close quarters combat, or CQC, and he can also pick up enemies with his robotic arm. When Snake reaches the mission area, he finds his sniper rifle and uses it to take out a sniper on the roof of the building. Just like in Ground Zeroes, in the Phantom Pain, you have to account for bullet drop over long-distance shots. And doing this nets Snake a reward for a long-distance takedown and a headshot, which will probably give you more stuff like more GMP and such. While infiltrating the area, Snake notices an anti-air radar and he checks it out with his scope. And a new Intel radio option appears. And this allows Snake to call in to get information on certain things. In this instance, it reveals that taking out the anti-air radar will allow your helicopters to get in closer without being spotted. The demo then shows that your Intel team back at Mother Base has marked predicted areas of enemy movement. But of course, the predictions aren't always entirely accurate. It is then shown that the enemies in the Phantom Pain will constantly adapt to your tactics. They will get new gear and probably start patrolling different areas. Snake soon finds the target and also discovers that he has several guards with him, including one guy completely decked out in nearly full body armor. A returning feature from past Metal Gear games is the ability to hide bodies inside of things, but now it's not just lockers. Now it's also dumpsters, and in this case, an outhouse. Then Snake sneaks his way inside to find an enemy looking right at him? Huh? Turns out it's not an enemy at all. Just like Snake can use decoys like what was shown in past trailers, the enemies can also use decoys of their own. Snake then finds the commander, and also another cassette tape, which looks to be the song True, which is a 1983 song by Spandau Ballet. Forgive me if I'm butchering that name. After faulting the commander, Snake is spotted by the armored guard, and all hell breaks loose. Snake jumps through a window to get away, and an all-out firefight starts. Snake uses several different weapons, including a riot shield. He even tosses a smoke grenade into the chaos and flips on his thermal goggles in order to see through the smoke. Snake makes his way outside to the anti-air radar we've seen earlier, where he dodges a rocket that was shot at him, before taking out the guy that shot it. He then uses the rocket launcher to take out the anti-air radar, allowing the helicopter to get closer. Snake then calls in D-Walker to take out the enemies so he can call in a chopper. So he whistles for D-Walker, and then climbs on board when he arrives. Here he uses the Gatling gun attachment on D-Walker to take out the guards before he calls in a chopper, which is followed by the arrival of an armored vehicle dropping off some soldiers, who he then takes out by shooting D-Walker's Gatling gun while in wheel mode. But it isn't long before he is overtaken by gunfire, and D-Walker falls and blows up. But D-Walker is not dead. When a buddy is close to death, Miller will automatically Fulton them back to Mother Base so that they can recover. The chopper that Snake called in arrives and takes out the armored vehicle, while Snake takes out an anti-air turret that is shooting at the helicopter. A tank then arrives, so Snake has to immediately climb onto the helicopter and take control of the Gatling gun attachment to the helicopter in order to take out the tank and make their escape. This helicopter gun is probably an attachment that you can add onto the chopper in the helicopter customization menu. Then the demo ends with Snake putting on a patch that says, Kojima Productions, which is kind of surprising since Kojima Productions is no more. On March 16, 2015, during some restructuring at Konami, it was said that Hideo Kojima would be leaving Konami, and Kojima Productions changed its name to Konami Los Angeles Studios. So it is pretty surprising to see the Kojima Productions logo in this demo. Perhaps it is Kojima saying that Kojima Productions is not dead. Or even this is his way of saying, hey, screw you, Konami. This has been Doughboy with Hardcore Academy, and peace out.